Hey guys, welcome back. This is Miss Glink. This video's purpose is to talk about area and perimeter and the differences and how to find them. So for fourth grade purposes, we're really only going to focus on finding the area and perimeter of squares and rectangles because those are the main shapes that you guys are going to work with anyway. So I want to start with perimeter. What I like to imagine is for perimeter, let's just say, I'm going to do my best with drawing. It's kind of goofy looking thing. Okay, so this is your house. And some of you might have a fence around your house. This might be to keep the dog out, or it might be for other purposes. Maybe you don't even have a fence. Maybe your dog is one of those escape artists who likes to try to get out. So maybe your house has an invisible fence. I know that my parents have neighbors that have an invisible fence. So this is the biggest example, the greatest example I can think of to show you what perimeter is. That fence is the perimeter. So a perimeter, if I can spell it right, perimeter is the distance around something. So you might even you could have a perimeter in your bedroom. That would be like all the walls, the very edges of your bedroom, or the very edges of your living room. That's kind of what's used to measure distance around. So let's just say let's just pretend like you have a square yard. Okay? So this outside part right here that I'm making really dark is your perimeter. Notice it's on the outside. We're not dealing with the inside yet, but it's the outside. Okay? So let's just say your yard is, we'll just do 36 feet on each side. Now, notice I only put the 36 feet on one of the sides. You have any idea why I could only put it on one of the sides? Well, if you guessed that because each side is equal in a square, you're correct. So if I notice that I'm given a square and one of the sides is 36 feet, I know that the rest of the sides are also 36 feet. So I'm going to fill that in. So no matter what, we know that the sides all have equivalent measures. To find the area, to find the perimeter of something, you could do it in one of two ways, and both of them will get you the same answer. You can either add all four of those numbers up, and it's important to make sure you add all four numbers, because if you only add two of them, well, that would mean that you only have two sides of your house or two sides of your yard, and you need to make sure to include all four sides. So I know 6 times 4 is 24. So I'm going to carry the 2. Oh. Let's just put it up here so it doesn't look like a 23. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14. So I know my perimeter is 144 feet. On the next page, I'll show you a different way that you can do it. I also know that if I have four numbers that are the same, well, That's basically saying 36 times 4. So I'm going to do an area model and show you that I can get the same number. We've got 30 plus 6 and 4. So this 30 times 4 gets me 120 because 3 times 4 is 12. Add the 0. In the second box I get 6 times 4 and that's 24. Add those two partial products, 120 plus 24, and I get 144. So check it out, 144 and 144. And I'm going to add my label, and all you have to do is make sure whatever unit of measure, in this case it's feet, it always has to be added on to your label. So you notice we got the same answer both times. So I'm going to show you an example of how to find area of a rectangle, and it's extremely similar. Really, there's not much difference, except obviously with a rectangle all four sides are not equal. So let's just say we have a shape that is 6 yards by 14 yards. Well, gee, how would I find these two? They're not labeled. I wanted to show you this because a lot of times you'll be given a shape that only has the two sides labeled, and I wanted to expose you to that. So what I do, well, gee, if this long side, what do I know about rectangles? Well, I know that two of the sides are equivalent and the other two sides are equivalent. Well, that means that this length must be the same length as this side because they're directly opposite from each other. So if this side is 14 yards, then this side must be 14 yards as well. So I'm going to add 14 yards. And same thing with if the left side is 6 yards, well, the opposite side must be the same length. So this one must be 6 yards. So that's kind of how you find missing numbers when you're doing, when you're given a rectangle. So what I'm going to do, of course, you got to make sure you add all four numbers. And I'll show you another strategy you could also do. But 14 plus 14 plus 6 plus 6, add that up. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. Carry my 2. 2 plus 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. So 40 yards. So I'm going to show you another way you could have added it. So if you have, these are the numbers you have, 14, 14, let me check here, 6, and 6. Adding it is perfectly fine. This is just another way you could have done it. Since I know that there is two 14s, it's basically saying 14 times 2. So I know that to multiply that, it's basically saying, well, if you think about it in your head, 14 is 10 plus 4, and I know that 10 times 2 is 20. I just multiplied these numbers. And then 4 times 2, this is my partial products method. So 4 times 2 is 8, and 20 plus 8 is 28. So here's one part of my answer. I know 6 times 2 is 12. So here's another part of my answer. 28 plus 12 is 40. And check that out. 40 yards and 40 yards. They're the same thing. So I know I said I was going to do area and perimeter on this video, but based on how much time this video is, I'm going to make a quick decision to show you just one more little thing, and then I think I'll make my area model on a separate video. So to kind of cap it off, area, no matter what the shape, no matter how long it is the distance around the outside of a shape. It doesn't have anything to do with the inside. That's something different. But it's the unit of measure that is the outside. That's perimeter. And I don't know, I guess I kind of think of it like the word perimeter is longer than the word area. I know it's kind of silly, but I have to find the length since it's a longer word. So if that helps, then that's my little trick for you for that.